Welcome back to the channel. Thank you guys for hanging with me on this Wednesday. So I'm getting the boat packed up. Any last second baits that I need to get out of this shop, get them in the boat or in the truck because I'm heading to Wheeler Lake tomorrow and I'm going to do some on the water footage. Basically, my perspective being pretty well versed on the Tennessee River, what I like about Wheeler, what I don't like. Just some tips, some stuff that may help you if you're traveling to different lakes or you're going to go fishing on Wheeler. But I really want to talk about today is when those fish make their push to go spawn, and it's still early in the year, so the fish that have moved to the backs of the pockets, they're going to be close to spawning, but you have a lot of fish that are still in that pre-spawn. It's tough to catch them because you just don't have a lot of them left doing that, or at least you don't have as many as you did a month ago doing that. And it's really difficult to go and catch all your fish on one bait. So this is the time of year where I think junk fishing is a big factor. This is probably the first time of the year where you really need to focus your efforts on a lot of different techniques, because a lot of techniques may take you an hour or two to get bit on them. And if you don't have the right conditions for that technique, it's not going to work. So you have to continuously be trying new things. So this tournament in particular is the first one of the year where I now have 4 spinning rods. And it's not just because this lake has smallmouth and spotted bass. It's because I may have to go fish some obvious stuff throughout a lull in the day to just maybe get a bite, because that's probably how this is going to fish. There's going to be a lot of pressure. There's going to be a lot of people doing the same things. And if you can somehow get yourself away from the crowds, or at least get your technique changed up from the other guys, show the fish something different, that is going to be a big player. So this happens when you may look outside and see the trees blooming, feel the warm air, the warm nights, and the weather's telling you these fish are going to the bank. Relax. The calendar is still telling you that there's another month or two of fish to move shallow and spawn. So as much as we'd like to just go fish for those spawners, this is the time of year where you need to go out and fish for fish that are around pre-spawn areas, but they're not acting like they did a month ago. They're getting kind of weird. Maybe these fish moved in shallow, then pulled back out. So a lot of times a bait like a Carolina rig is going to play when it wouldn't have really caught anything a month ago. Now it is a factor because you just have fish that are relating to a hard bottom, and they're kind of coming off the bottom, and they've seen a lot of other baits because they've been there for a while. For this reason, I am going to be drop shotting, Ned rigging, shaky heading, Carolina rigging on spots that I would normally crank, throw a chatterbait, but you just don't know if that is covering all bases at this point. So you have to drag something slow on the bottom a lot of times. And there may be fish out there spawning. You have a lot of different options with those baits. And I'm not going to say that you're just catching pre-spawners with those baits. You may also be catching spawners. And that's going to fit into what's going on because there are fish in all phases right now. So why I bring this up is because if you don't at least try those techniques, and you have someone in your boat or in your fishing a tournament and they catch one on one of those techniques, it's too late for you to go and make that work if you've only been chatterbaiting and swim jigging and cranking the whole time. So cover all bases this time of year. A month ago, I don't think you had to. I think you could stay fairly one-dimensional and you'd be all right. Now you have a lot of dimensions and you have to cover all of them. So I'm not going to spend more than probably an hour a day on any of those Carolina rig, drop shot, shaky head, Ned rig techniques. But I don't want to be surprised when my co-angler in the tournament catches a big one on a Carolina rig and everything I had caught in those type areas were just 2 pounds. So the quality bites, those bigger bites, they get kind of weird this time of year. You can't just bank everything on your traditional techniques. You got to kind of get outside the box. Just your shallow baits are the ones that probably the fish are seeing the most. That's where those Carolina rigs, mid-range baits that I consider are going to play. So try that, guys. Good luck to you, and I'll see you on the water.